It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Today we're joined by Dr. Simone Silva, founder of the Hormonal Health Wellness Center, as well as Laura Johnston, CEO of PHYTOCEUTICS and an expert in integrative nutrition. Now they're here to discuss something so incredibly important and also guide us on common hormone issues affecting women under 40, including PCOS and PMS. Let's get into the first thing, PCOS. It might be a term that not many people know what it stands for, knows what it means.
PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So by name, one would think that we have to have a whole bunch of cysts on our ovaries.
Right.
And while some women do, some women actually don't. So it's not a prerequisite. We know that we have this condition when we have high male hormones, and this can produce symptoms like acne or abnormal hair growth for women in places that we really don't want it, like belly buttons or chin or face. And the high male hormones also stop us from ovulating. So a lot of women actually stop having periods or have very, very long and very light cycles. It's also characterized by really high insulin levels. So what happens is women who suffer from this really gain a lot of weight and really struggle to lose it. Because a lot of women with PCOS can't ovulate, it can become extremely difficult to get pregnant. But the key message to take home is so much can be done through lifestyle and nutritional solutions. And in fact, those strategies are really, really, really vital and super helpful way before drug therapy becomes important.
We've done the diet, we've managed our stress. What more can we do?
Yeah, so touching on what Simone said with those three things, I think with supplements, high blood sugar, that can cause weight gain. A supplement that's amazing for that is called berberine. I actually just did a really cool test on myself where I had the same lunch 3 days in a row. One day was kind of the control day, another day was, you know, just testing versus the control. And the last day I had berberine 30 minutes before my meal. And I really noticed that my spike in blood sugar levels was far less.
Wow.
So that was fascinating. And it shows that a natural supplement like berberine can be effective. And then also when it comes to inflammation, things like omega-3 can be massively beneficial. Also for acne, omega's really beneficial. And then curcumin, which comes from turmeric. And that's really been proven to help manage inflammation.
Sure. I'm so glad that you're providing solutions because there are many women. And what was surprising, even growing up, there were some girls around me that were suffering from PCOS. But let's talk about those on the journey of preconception. What sort of hormones and hormone assistance should we look out for when wanting to fall pregnant?
For a lot of women, we only think about pregnancy when we actually really want to fall pregnant.
Right.
But actually, we should start planning for it well in advance because studies are actually showing us that if we can create an optimum environment in our bodies way before pregnancy, we're going to have impact on baby's health, and not just at birth, but for years and years to come. And one of the most vital would be to look after gut health. And I think the gut health inflammation link really runs between things like PCOS, preconception, and PMS. So in all young women, we've got to be thinking about gut health and inflammation because they impact our hormonal health so much. So we need to look after our guts. We need to start supplementing with folate. And I think we just need to be really conscious of chemicals, what we're putting on our skins and in our bodies, because any chemical is so easily transferred to a baby.
Okay, so PCOS affects a couple of women. PMS probably affects a little bit more women. So I feel like we need to talk about this. I mean, what is PMS? What causes it? And how does it also impact our hormones?
PMS is extremely common. Up to 80% of women worldwide suffer from it. And 5% of those women are so severely affected that they actually cannot function. And I feel really passionate that PMS should be spoken about because it's so often minimized or trivialized as part of being a woman. And when it's debilitating, that's not normal. Just because it's common, it doesn't mean that it's normal. But as with PCOS and preconception optimization, we have this thread of inflammation, which is the health theme that runs through all these hormone conditions pre-40. And the same is true of PMS. So there's a cellular inflammation at play. There's a high release of inflammatory molecules we call prostaglandins. And this causes havoc with pain, inflammation, mood, how we make mood chemicals in the brain, and how our female hormones are balanced. So
speaking about imbalancing hormones, I mean, Laura, are there any natural ways that we can take that on head on and somehow target that?
Yeah, I think most women have heard the term before, are you PMSing, when you're grumpy, which is so irritating. But I think, you know, there really is something to it when you really can't control your emotions. And by facilitating a healthy gut through the likes of probiotics and fiber is also incredibly important. You know, you can improve your mood and your state of mind. And I think something like, 70% of your serotonin is produced in your gut, which is wild. I mean, these are your feel-good hormones.
And just to jump on that, I mean, it's so fascinating if we think about what creates experience for us as women. So our experience of ourselves, our mood, our experience of pain, discomfort, certainly gut and inflammation, but our female hormones as well. So our estrogen and progesterone regulate chemicals in the brain, like serotonin and dopamine.
When your progesterone and your estrogen are not balanced, you don't feel well. So things like sulforaphane, which comes from broccoli sprout extracts, can help you detoxify, particularly when it comes to estrogen detoxification.
We often think about hormones in terms of levels being too high or too low. It's more than that. We have to break down hormones properly in the body. So to Laura's point, the gut and the liver are the organs that do that. So we've really got to be well functioning all around.
Absolutely. The ecosystem needs to speak to each other and make sure the balance is there. And I'm so glad you ladies have brought some good news to know that, yes, a balance can actually be struck. But Mzansi, let me tell you that you also stand a chance to win a 1,000 Rand PHYTOCEUTICS voucher this morning. Now, to enter, all you have to do is take the Phyto Health Quiz on PHYTOCEUTICS.com/Expresso. Of course, T's and C's can be found on ExpressoShow.com, but you want to get involved, so get to it now.
Optimize your gut health with PHYTOCEUTICS range of pre, pro, and postbiotics. Use code EXPRESSO for 15% off at PHYTOCEUTICS.com.